Hello, my name is Susan Ashley and welcome to my YouTube channel, Truth Seeker. This is my new channel and I wanted to celebrate this new channel by putting up the first recording that is specifically for this channel. And that is about the 21st to the 12th and what that means to us and planet Earth and what it's all about. So I'm going to channel Kassandra for you. And normally I just use the voice, but for this first channeling on my new channel, it's a lot of times I said channel, I am going to do it like this so that you can see the process of how I channel, and you can look at the energy around me and tune in and see that it is indeed myself moving back and another energy coming forward. Now Kassandra is part of the white Council and the Blue Council, and the White Council is commonly known as the White Brotherhood. She calls it Council because she says it's gender neutral. And you can go to my other channel that has been, YouTube channel that's been deplatformed, but you can still see the videos there. And it's called Susan and Kassandra if you want to learn a little bit about her and her background. And you can also go to my website, lovelightandtruth.com, and all the information is there. So welcome, and I'm really looking forward to bringing through this information for you to give you a better understanding, perhaps some inspiration, and perhaps some comfort at this moment in time. So it takes me a little bit to leave and Kassandra to come. The first thing that she says is she comes in love and in light and in truth. And is this acceptable to you? So my husband's here, Yanni, and he will say yes, and then it will move forward. I don't really know much of what she's going to say. I know a little bit of it because we already did this recording and a big chunk of it went missing. So we have to do it again. So I'm looking forward to bringing this through for you. And I'll see you on the other side. And we are Kassandra. We come to this day in love and in light and in truth. Is this acceptable to you?
Yes.
Good. We requested this communication to shed some light on the current situation on the planet Earth and this coming alignment on the 21st of the 12th, 2020. This is indeed a grand alignment, and it means far more than you realize. For it is the day that Mother Earth reunites as a member of the universe, coming under universal laws and releasing man-made laws that no longer serve her or her people. So it is indeed an important day. As we have spoken about previously in our conversation about Atlantis and Lemuria, we suggested that Atlantis never left, that you are still existing in the vibration of Atlantis. And there is a reversal to going back to Lemuria. Lemuria was a time of great peace and unity on the planet. Atlantis brought about, of course, technology and some very interesting things. But because that technology went too far, changing the DNA of the human body, cross-breeding between animal and human, enslaving the humans, being inhumane to animals and humans, destroying the nature. Yes, the technology was very advanced, but that does not make an advanced nation or civilization. So, of course, there was a battle and everything was destroyed, to be rebuilt again, to give the earthlings and Mother Earth the opportunity to make different decisions. For you too are all, you are living in a universe of free will. It's not just planet Earth that is free will. It is the entire universe. And the entire universe comes under universal laws. And those laws are adhered to by both dark and light. So you may not want to believe that. However, it is true. There are very strong laws that the dark come under. You see, the light lives on truth. The dark thrives on lies and inversion. The light creates. The dark uncreates. And there has been a battle on Earth to turn it into a planet of darkness. However, that is not what is going to happen. In the time of Lemuria and at the beginning of Atlantis, there were 12 points of creation on Mother Earth. These points of creation were mathematical configurations that comprised of a vortex. The vortex was in fact sort of like a wormhole. It was, or a porthole. It was an energy system that created an opening to be able to travel from one point on Earth to another point within the universe, a galaxy, a planetary system. And at the time of the collapse of Atlantis, all of those points of creation were shut down to stop this travel. And Earth became disconnected from the universe by way of an artificial plane of existence, which you call the astral plane. And the astral plane has existed for many thousands of years. And we would say to you that Atlantis was not one country or one village or an island or what have you. Atlantis was an era that stretched across the planet. And of course, the landscape of the planet is different to what it was then. So we couldn't really say to you, oh, it was South America or it was parts of Europe, because it's all changed. Lemuria was the same. It was an era. It wasn't one place. However, there are certain parts of the planet where Lemuria is untainted. and you just had verification. So Lemuria is untainted in what you call the country Australia and parts of Asia. Now, Ayers Rock or Uluru, it is known by both names. The English would call it Ayers Rock, the Aboriginals call it Uluru. It has gone back to its original name, Uluru. Uluru is a point of creation that has awakened. And the points of creation were fully awakened at the end of 2012. So prior to that, there were a few awakened at different times in different years, starting in 1987. But the finishing of that happened in 2012. So from there to now, you have been in a battle. The battle between dark and light has gotten stronger. And that's for a reason. Because the dark understands how it gets to create a reality is through the inhabitants of the earth. You are all powerful beings able to create or co-create a reality in which you can live in. And the systems that govern you have taught you how to create the reality that they want, and that's part of the reason that you struggle and you feel enslaved. Because in some ways your minds have been enslaved. Now, the reason we wanted to do this particular communication was to celebrate with you what is coming. Because whenever the darkness believes it is won, somehow the light uses that occasion to grasp the win. And although it doesn't feel like it, it has. So, those points of creation are all awakened. The intergalactic lineup that's happening means that your planetary system, so your solar system, is moving. It's moving all these planets in a particular configuration to create a portal, a direct line between Earth and the Milky Way. The Milky Way is the doorway to, we could say, a part of the universe you don't see, you don't fully understand. And it is a part of the universe that is filled with light, love, and truth. And that will become the reigning vibration of Earth. Because of Atlantis and the shutting down of those points of creation and the, we could say, manifestation of the astral plane, the energetic signature of Mother Earth, meaning its sound, its frequency, its connection, was removed from unity consciousness. Therefore, it was removed from its role within the universe. It forgot that it was part of the universe, and man-made laws became the governing factor, the king of how you lived. And those laws were co-created by 5 different We call them families, and we understand that there are 13 families who govern what happens on the earth, but what we're referring to is the 5 families of creation, which are politics, so government, religion, finances, science, medicine, education. So when you think of education, you can also think about media, television, newspapers. They're informing you. They're giving you information. When you think about science, you think about medicine, agriculture. So spread the awareness a little. When you think about religion, it means all religion and all forms of information that state to you, you are not in direct alignment to God. You must go through a third party. Finances, well, that's pretty much understood, isn't it? Because it governs everything. So you can see how these 5 families used to operate independently. So they had their own areas, their own income, their own power. When you prepared for 5D, those families knew they could not survive because you as a nation, well, now we're not meaning the nation of America or Australia, we mean the earth nation, you as a collective, started to say, well, you know, we're turning away from religion. We want to create our own income, different platforms for income. We want to say to the government, no, thank you. We want to do the same with medicine. So what did they do? They joined together. And we mentioned this many years ago that they would, and we informed many when they did. They joined together to create one powerful force, interlinked, communicating with each other, planning everything together, step by step, how they would control you, thus preventing the earth from going into 5D. Well, that's what they thought. Now, the other thing that they wanted to do was to create 5G. So when you think about the different dimensional realities, you can relate them to 3D, 3G, 4D, 4G. You can see how your energy fields have shifted and changed your technology. So when you were in 3G, you had cords pretty much running everything. When you went into 4D, you let go of the cords, and you understood that things traveled through vibrational frequencies. Right? Now you're going into 5D, so another aspect of energy is opening up to you, and that's going to be pretty amazing, actually. Now, with the 5G, they want to put these satellites out around the Earth. Why? To create an artificial astral plane, meaning the vibration of the Earth will not be able to go out and connect with the universe and bring down those universal laws. You will be trapped inside and you will not be able to leave the planet as a soul when you pass, which was happening previously to many souls. And so you were trapped. You were trapped in the rhythm of reincarnation over and over and over again. enslaved. Now, there are certain laws within this universe around free will. As adults, you have free will to choose and to not choose. You have free will to say no. Well, you did have. However, when the darkness started to abuse children, the innocent, and animals, the innocent, and it got to a certain level of abuse, a quota of abuse, they crossed a line. When they crossed that line, an armada of beings and ships from all aspects of the universe surrounded Mother Earth. Some of you feel these beings. They have intervened in your life, supported you, guided you, helped you, and healed you. And there isn't one single human being on the planet without at least 3 beings working with them, minimum. So we want you to see what you have available to you is no small thing. And these beings are ready to intervene should those satellites become activated and create an artificial astral plane of entrapment. Now, we're not saying that you will no longer need to stand up to those who are creating this on earth, because it's up to you to say no. When enough say no, when we get a certain level of the collective consciousness that is in agreement with that no, that armada will act and remove those satellites or shift the vibration they're emanating to one of healing. But it is up to the inhabitants of Earth. Now, Mother Earth will expand into a 5D reality. Those that do not wish to remain in the 5D reality will be removed through earthquakes, through storms, through various different things. So Earth is moving and growing regardless of who is inhabiting her. And this is an important factor. Those that are not connected to the earth, who do not honor and respect the earth, will not be able to remain. And this will take approximately 5 years after the 21st. So there's 5 years of awakening for many, healing for others, inspiration for some, incredible inventions, but also great opposition. Because those 5 families feel entitled to your energy, to your soul. They know that their time is limited. They know they have gone against universal law. Now, throughout the ages, you've been gifted some of those universal laws, some of them to live by, and they have been presented to you through the Buddhist precepts, Moses' 10 Commandments. You've received insight into some of those universal laws. So we want to just cover one of those laws that was granted to you in the 10 Commandments and the precepts, and that is, thou shalt not steal. if you look at those commandments, they're pretty good. But, man changed them a little bit, altered them to justify their behavior. Some have their truth, their universal law as if you kill, when you die, you are placed in a position of honor. How can that be a religion of peace? It's not. So when you think about thou shalt not steal, what does that mean? You think items. We think energy. Your mind has been stolen. Your emotions are constantly used and stolen. Your energy is consistently stolen, and you've learned how to steal it from each other using lies, manipulation, and emotional blackmail. And this is happening on a grand scale at this moment, because the dark understood very clearly how it works, but your education system, which is controlled by the dark, doesn't educate you. And we can tell you that many of your gurus, your, what do you call them, light workers, are also deceiving you. Because they're using some information to twist your emotions, to justify a lack of responsibility. For instance, we see this a lot. I'm not responsible for how they react to my behavior. I'm not responsible for your tears or the pain that I gave you, because you should have known. Your reaction to my bad behavior is yours. It has nothing to do with me. So in other words, I can slap you in the face, but if you react to it and get upset, that's your responsibility. That's your choice. You could just walk away. That's very strongly emotional manipulation. And it bears no responsibility on the person who hit you, or the person who deceived you. Your laws, government, prides itself on twisting and utilizing those laws to free rapists, killers, and they celebrate it. The darkness understood that in order to really manipulate you, they must attack you on the mental and emotional plane, because they understand that energy systems work spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and then physically. So if they can jam you, distract you, distort you at the mental and emotional plane, you will never allow yourself to anchor the physical plane of your truth. And this is what's been happening for a very long time. So as Mother Earth becomes a full-fledged member of the universe of light on the 21st, you will start to come under those universal laws. So anyone operating outside of them will collapse over the next 5 years. So we're not suggesting that on the 22nd you'll wake up and everything will be perfect on planet Earth. No. You have allowed this to happen through your own complacency and greed in some cases. Being placed in survival mode often creates low character. And so this has been a time of great shifts and changes. Because once you start to bring down those universal laws, and we actually know someone who has been writing about these universal laws, and we have helped them. And there will be others that will write about those universal laws so that you can reconnect with them. However, what we would say is this: you already know basically what they are. For they are the thing that keeps you in your heart and says, that's not right. That's not right. That should not be happening, not to me, not to anyone. You know what those laws are. They're a part of you as much as they are a part of this universe. For you are all one. What does unity consciousness means? To be unified, to be one. One within yourself. To flow your spirit, for your spirit and your heart and your mind to be in harmony. And to be physically manifesting that which you honor and believe in. And so this alignment will create a stirring on the planet. People will rise up. People will start to say no and understand that when they say that no, there is power and strength behind it, for they understand what the truth is. And they will do that. Governments will fall. Financial systems will fall. It does not mean that you will have no money and everything will be horrible. What it means is that the systems that have enslaved you will either adjust and become more sensible, kind and considerate and supportive rather than abusive. So if they don't shift their terms of agreements, the way that they work, if they don't shift that, they will fall. It's the same for businesses. If they don't start creating items that can last more than a week, and paying their staff the correct amount of money and not these, children working for them or people working for 20 cents a day so they can make mega profits. So all of that inequality will have to go. If it doesn't, that company will lose its standing in the world. Anything that is corrupt will crumble. All government workers, whether they are a politician or a street cleaner, if they are unethical, if they are abusing the system in any way, they will be removed. Your taxation system will change. Instead of paying 70% tax, and you might say, oh, that's not true, I pay, 33% tax or 27% tax. Yes, you do. And then on top of that, you pay for your pension, you pay for your health, and you also pay tax on every single thing you purchase. Every service and every item has multiple taxes upon it. So when you look at your wage in the end and you consider everything that you purchase, everything you will find that you have paid 70% tax, maybe more. This is abusive, and what is happening with that money? What's happening with that money is extremely dark. So imagine if you paid 15% tax and there was no other tax on items or services. You paid a strict 15%, and out of that 15%, with honest governments, you would have the most incredible education system. Hospitals, health, elderly being cared for. So much would be done with that money. And you would all live abundant lives. That's what we're talking about. And when free energy is given, because profit is not the number one thing, you can relax. When you take away the vibration of greed, competition, and authority used to abuse, and enslavement, when you take that away, you have a completely different planet. And this is what will commence. In some ways, it's already commenced, because many of you are already awakening to those universal laws. We want you to remember that the truth is the enemy of evil. So whenever you speak the truth, whether it's internally or externally, you are exposing that darkness. And it cannot come near you. And this will be a very important date. So on that date, you've been asked to meditate, to generate energy for a certain group of guardians. Those guardians being the leaders of the Aboriginal tribes in Australia, the original inhabitants of Earth. Their very DNA holds that information. And yes, your DNA has been altered. Your DNA was altered from 12 to 2 strand, and that was so that the darkness could reside within your physical body. Because as a 12-strand being, darkness could not reside in you. And you are going to take that back also. And what is even more interesting, you have at the moment a situation where they're saying, oh, you have to be 6 feet away from each other, 2 meters. Okay, so the average person has a 2-meter auric field, approximately. The reason they came up with this is so that you didn't ignite each other's light, and those that had already been in receipt and acknowledgement of those universal laws couldn't ignite it in another, because as soon as you wake up, you wake the people around you up, regardless of whether you speak a word. Energy communicates to energy. And as we said, when you move into 5D, you're changing the frequency of what's available to you. You're opening it up. Okay, so what you're awakening is the element of vibration, which is in everything. So you have now 6 elements: earth, fire, air, water, ether, vibration. When you understand that vibration communicates with each other regardless of what you say, you'll become more telepathic. when you choose to meditate on that day and generate energy for those elders, it is to do it with an open heart, not with, I want this, I want that, this is my vision, and not with ego, oh, I did this, I'm responsible for that. No. You do it as a gift to those that know what needs to be done. You generate energy for them to create that link, to sing that link into being. And we tell you why. Because for many, many thousands of years, the sound, the vibrational sound that's come out of Earth, its energy signature to the universe, has been that of suffering and great pain and enslavement. And they must sing a song of absolute joy to awaken the light. So that alignment heralds Earth's welcoming to being a fully fledged member of the universe. And that is why your astrology, so looking at the solar system of planet Earth, you know, there's 12 planets. If you look at Metatron's cube, what is Metatron's cube? Each circle in Metatron's cube represents a planet in the Earth system. And each planet represents a particular vibrational frequency, making up the whole. You have been through your own frequency sound on Earth, separate even from your own solar system. So the imprint of that solar system will become far greater to you. The understanding of astrology will start to become far more meaningful. However, there will be astrologers that will go even further than the Earth's solar system and start to learn how to read the universe and understand that, which will be very exciting for many. So that's what we wanted to communicate with you about this day, to let you know what the 21st is about. And within that change, what will happen is this. Many of you will understand vibration more. You'll start to learn about vibrational frequencies and the differences. Your 12-strand DNA will start to awaken. Sometimes it will be awakened from being around other people. The key is sound. It was sound that locked it down and closed it, and it will be sound that awakens it. But if you have a sound in your body that is filled with pain and enslavement, that is filled with greed, competition, doubt, and fear, you will not be able to hear that sound. For the 12 strands represent 6 physical, 6 non-physical. This is unity consciousness. It is connecting you with the universe and those universal truths, imprinting them into your physical being so that they can reign on earth. So that you can make them physically present and active. And nothing will stop it. Understand who you are. Understand your power to co-create. Call upon your soul ancestors, your spiritual ancestors. Gather them around you for strength and courage. When the darkness blocks you by deplatforming you or presenting something to you, go another direction. Don't try to fight the darkness. Walk away, find another way. You know, the darkness created a pandemic. Interesting, because what it has done is disabled travellers interfering in what is going to happen on the 21st of the 12th. For if, let's say, you were able to move around as you normally are, you were free in that way, many would flock to that area. And they would want to intervene with their egos, their spiritual egos, upon the gentle people of the tribes. Because you look upon them as, well, perhaps not so special because they don't drive a Mercedes or have diamonds. Perhaps what they have is far more valuable than you can conceive. They have trained all their life for this moment. They do not need spiritual arrogance to tell them how to do it. And they don't need your disappointment to be a vibration within that ceremony. See, there's lots of interference that tries to come in and stop it, to weaken it, to weaken its ability to create the rainbow bridge. Nothing will weaken it. And we will suggest something else. Many of you have heard of the 144,000, the story of this. When 144,000 are awakened on the earth will be uplifted. Perhaps this is the time. If 144,000 individuals can unselfishly generate energy for these sacred tribes without ego, without desire to name themselves, that's the 144,000. If they can do that, great things will happen. Unfortunately, in a lot of these what you call New Age circles, they're not capable of doing that without big noting themselves, without wanting to see a vision that perhaps is different to those Aboriginal guardians of the earth. So perhaps there will be millions meditating that day, but only 144,000 with pure hearts. It's all that's needed out of what? Nearly 8 billion souls. And what will happen after that will astound you. And we will do another communication about that to support those that are willing to hear. So for now, we will say goodbye and we will thank you for allowing us to do this communication and to share with you why the 21st of the 12th is so important. Get ready. For those who are pure of heart will have the most astounding time. We leave you in our love and our light and our truth and our blessings. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
I hope that was good. Okay, I'm going to leave you. I'm going to have a cup of tea. And I hope that was beneficial for everyone. Bye for now. Lots of love.